Truth Talks, the show that shines a light in dark places and brings the barbecue to the public. Let's go.
Are y'all ready to roll? Let's go.
Let's get into the main topic. Sometimes the anger that we feel toward our political situation may be misunderstood, maybe misconstrued. Draymond Green was talking about this the other day. Let's roll that clip.
Man, I'm not an angry black man. I'm a very successful, educated black man with a great family. And I'm great at basketball. I'm great at what I do. The agenda to try to keep making me look like an angry black man is crazy. I'm sick of it. It's ridiculous.
So let's talk about the angry black man, woman, archetype, stereotype thing. Draymond, the point in here is not Draymond, who may be a little angry and a little
little Draymond is freaking angry. He's all those amazing things. He is angry. They have him on the court for a reason. He puts pressure on people, man. Draymond is part of the game.
But let's not focus on Draymond. The point is the anger that a lot of us feel at the way that they look at us and the desire to be violent in response to what we are not getting politically, the justice, the equality. There is a lot of black anger, and you do say, should we be more Malcolm than Martin, more aggressive, more Black Panther than SNCC? Should we, we can march, look at them rioting. I don't know what they got out of that, but a lot of them went to jail. But our political ideals might sometimes need a little more force behind them. We have the president of the NAACP in California here. Are you committed as a black person, Dr. B, to the continuing Dr. King peaceful, civil disobedience, nonviolence, or at some point do we need to add some of what Malcolm X and the Black Panthers were talking about?
Well, listen, MLK was a member of our NAACP, and as president, I'm gonna roll with my member, right? But I am that president of NAACP where I'm a little Malcolm. I'm a lot more Malcolm, I should say, and a little less MLK. And we have a lot of those leaders within our organization where, they are protesting, they are giving those speeches, and they are showing that our Black voice matters. And that is needed on the streets. But we also need people who are like Malcolm, who are going to say this is where it stops, who are going to stand vertical in who they are, who are going to do an eye for an eye, right? Who's going to not just turn the other cheek, but going to say, we're going to face this head on, and whatever is necessary for us to do it is what we have to do. I don't think there's one leadership that's needed. I think it's a collective. I think screaming and having a voice and protesting and getting their attention is a great way. And I think saying, listen, we got to step on your fucking toes, and that's what we have to do, then by all means necessary, from my brother Malcolm, like he said, by all means necessary, then so be it. But both leaderships are necessary. I would never negate one.
Sarah, go.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy when we were looking at that first picture that was put up, and it was, current times versus Civil War times. And I'm literally thinking, if you were to title this Rebellion versus Insurrection, which would you think was which? Because the truth is, every time that we start to speak up for ourselves, when we do choose to get angry, when we do have a passionate feeling because our people are being disrespected, we're not being loved, we're trying to enforce the fact that we matter, they call us rebellious. They say that we have a civil disobedience, right? And so that's the issue. I think that we as a Black people, though, get to do a much better job of stop being so emotional and reactionary, because emotions are temporary. So if I am outraged and I am angry, yes, that is fuel, and that's great. But if you guys have noticed, statistically speaking, and throughout the past, we always run out of steam. We run out of steam because we're not focused on an actual action plan. We're not disciplined to carry something out. We don't come together as a people to make things better. What we do is we're angry. We say that we're angry. We're loud. We're passionate. And then what do? They give us a little bit of media, and then that pacifies us. They give us a little bit of media, and then we forget that we were angry. And we have to do a much better job of committing to the differences that need to happen. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be angry. I'm just saying be angry with a plan. What is the actual plan of action?
So, Dr. B.
Just really quick, I want to say on January 6th, what Sarah's referring to, there were a group of people that attacked the Capitol.
Yeah.
Those group of people are what those group of people refer to us as, I refer to them as, that's what I call niggas. Those were niggas attacking a Capitol right here in this video. On the left, you got niggas attacking the Capitol. On the right, you have leaders of all races, of all creeds, of all ages who are marching and protesting for issues, legislation, concerns, and change and justice. Two totally different people. And so when they say niggas, I look at them niggas who are attacking the Capitol, who should have been criminalized for these acts, who our current president has what? Pardoned many of those niggas. So that's how I look at it. I don't look at niggas being a race. I look at it as folks who are doing ignorant acts, crimes, such as the ones we just seen in that photo.
I love that picture because it speaks to my pragmatism that I am with you, Dr. B, as far as the Malcolm vibe. And at some point, we do need to show, like, we're very upset. You know, we're upset enough to riot. Like, those sorts of things do move the political system over time. But we cannot have a violent uprising against this country. Like, we need to have peace. Even the picture on the right here, these people are engaging, as far as I can tell, in property damage, right? They are not attacking individuals, right? I believe they're attacking a statue, right? Because you see a Civil War statue, right? So when we're doing that sort of thing, we are showing the capitalist structure how angry we are. When we attack individuals, now the structure will come back and crush us. We cannot survive in that way. So even though we feel the anger, and you think about somebody like Rodney Hinton Jr., right, in Ohio, his son is murdered by a police officer. And then he goes the next day and purposefully kills
the officer. Yes.
Now, I'm not saying I would have done it, but I understand, right? And can we make success? Can we have political success doing that at scale? Absolutely not. And I am not telling other people to go do that. But I feel it. And I know that there are other people who feel the same way. Dimitri, I know that there's a lot of Black men who feel like doing what Rodney Hinton Jr. did.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much for me to unpack right here. So forgive me if I have to take my time, because this is something, the Draymond Green thing, I'm with him. As a Black man, I feel like we should be angry. We should be very angry. But the thing about it is they label us this. We were trained to be passive, right? Not because it's morally correct, but because it's manageable. That's the fucking problem. That's what I see. And the thing about it is, we talked, you brought up, Tori, you brought up Martin and Malcolm.
Yep.
What people often misunderstand about Martin and Malcolm, Malcolm was strategic, not violent. Martin was radical, not weak. And I think people often misunderstand what the fuck that means, because they say it's either we be violent or no, we can take the strategic radical approach. Let's do it. But the thing about it is, when we march, when Black people march, right, we get fucking arrested with mugshots. But when they storm the fucking Capitol, they get selfies in the fucking public building. Like, I don't understand it. It's completely unjust. I will never fucking understand it. But the thing about it is, I think being labeled is angry. We should be angry. It's a fucking human emotion. And we've earned that right to be angry. It's all about how you display it to the world.
I mean, you know, what you're talking about is absolutely right. James Baldwin's talking about, if you're Black and you're not angry, what is the problem? Because you should be upset about the state of Black people and Black justice in this country. We are not getting our fair share. Slavery still affects us. There's massive policing problems. There's massive wealth inequality. We should be angry. And that doesn't mean we should leave this country. I want this country to be better for us. Don't tell me if you don't like it, then leave. No, I want America to be the greatest country of the world and to work for us and not just for them, right? Dr. B, go.
I love what Dimitri said. He said that labeling Black men as angry is a form of suppression. That's what I heard him say, right?
Yes.
It's a form of suppression. And it is also a form of what we've been talking about here on True Talk, silencing the Black voice. And let me go further. It's silencing the Black male voice, which is the head, not the neck of our community, of our race. And if they can silence y'all, then guess what? They feel they can silence us. And when they don't silence the Black women, what does that do? It makes us pass y'all up, proceed y'all in every way that we have, because they are choosing to use you guys' natural way of feeling as a way to weaponize it against you, so that when you are having emotions, they want you to do the opposite of angry and go to the place that's super, super vulnerable and soft. And what that has done is, and I'm probably going to have a huge unapologetic opinion about this, and I don't care. What it has done is it has softened a lot of our Black men. It has made our Black men feel like they can't stand vertical in who they are. It has made our Black men feel like they can't have a voice in their house, a voice in their relationship, a voice as parents. And let me go further. They don't even talk about y'all asses at the presidential debate. They don't care about your diabetes. They don't care about your prostate cancer. They don't care about the Black on Black crime. They talk about the Black woman dying 3 times more when giving birth than a white woman. They never mention the Black man. And let me say one more thing. When Kamala was running for office, our sister Kamala, she didn't mention y'all Negroes either as much. This is where I have a problem when it comes to politics, Tori. You can look how you want to look, because the Black man is the last man who is mentioned. Y'all have the right to feel the way you feel, express how you express, run your household, be parents, be fathers, and stand up. You are not the statistics that they are telling you that you are. You are better than that. And we as Black women and Black men and our allies have to represent in that space. Until then, we will be silenced.
No, that was 100% with all that. I just want to give respect to my friend Kamala, who I love and respect.
Respect her as a Black woman, but we're going to call things wrong when it's wrong. In our Black community, we have to have think tanks where we say, listen, Dr. Sarah, I love you, sis, but you was out of pocket here. And Dr. Sarah could say, Doc, listen, love you, sis, but this is what's needed for us to do better collectively. We got to have that emotional intelligence. We can't be an oversensitive freaking community. We can be emotional, but we can't be oversensitive.
100%. Let's listen to Draymond Green again.
Angry Black man. I'm not an angry Black man. I'm a very successful, educated Black man, and I'm great at basketball. I'm great at what I do. The agenda to try to keep making me look like an angry Black man is crazy. I'm sick of it. It's ridiculous.
You know, you do have to worry constantly, Sarah, as a Black man or woman in society, in mixed society, right? It doesn't come up when we're just with us, but like when we're interacting with them, the least little tone, the least little face, the least little aggressiveness, and you're that, right? And sometimes you're not even, they don't even say it. You just think it. You know that they might think that. So you're dealing with stereotype threat as far as not trying to, it's a very complicated thing that's going on inside us.
Yes. Can I ask you? Oh, Sarah,
let me just say one thing that I feel like one of the reasons why we're looked at as angry is because they have suppressed us not to be. So now when we start feeling our real feelings, it's like, oh, whoa, this isn't supposed to happen. But when I have conversations with my 85-year-old great aunt Marge, and she's telling me about in the past how she used to say her mother said, don't start no trouble. If they look at you a certain way, if they spit on you, if you go, don't drink from that fountain, don't start no trouble. We don't want no trouble over here. And it wasn't until the late Congressman John Lewis was able to say, we need more good trouble in our life. We need to be those voices. We need to get out there. We need to have these conversations. We need to come together, because to be honest, if you look at who has control, the only reason why who's in control is because what did they do? They raped, they pillaged, and they killed. The only way that they were able to literally colonize this entire nation, they took the people that are from Native Americans, they are native to this land, and made them strangers to their own land, and then took it, pushed them into areas that they don't belong in, stole people from other countries, brought them here, and taught them, we're going to rape, pillage, and steal. It's just like the elephant that's connected to the chair. If you put a baby elephant and you harness it to a chair, a small little peg in the ground, it's unable to pull the peg out of the ground. Well, as it gets older, it doesn't even try. Why? Because it is a mind control. Why? Because we are so clear that we are supposed to be nice and dismissive and understanding. And the moment that we come with passion, they're not used to that because they've taught us not to have it.
The passion that you're coming with and Dr. B's coming with, I love, and it reminds me of Romany Malik in 40-Year-Old Virgin. Roll that.
That I can't do.
Now don't be a Negro, be my nigga. All right, help me out.
Hold on. I ain't nobody's nigga.
Well, I mean, you somebody's nigga wearing this nigga top.
Now you're being condescending. You've been warned, all right? Let's move forward amicably.
Okay, well, check this out, though. First of all, you throwing too many big words at me. Okay, now, because I don't understand them, I'm going to take them as disrespect. Watch your mouth and help me with the sale.
Okay, see, now you found yourself a nigga. You were looking for a nigga? Nigga
Here
now.
now.
If you wanna go, I suggest you move back.
So the whole thing is like that we are like Romney and Kevin Hart is America. Like, help me out. Don't be a nigga, be a nigger. He's like, nigga here now. We are like, nigga here now. Like, we're mad. Like, do we take this feeling that we have to a civil war, Dimitri? Like, is that the vibe? Like, people keep talking about that. Like, is that what we need to do?
Absolutely, in my opinion, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Fight for it. You know, the thing about it is Black passion. I'm gonna say passion because you've been seeing a lot of it on the screen. Black passion is viewed as fucking criminal in this country. We need to relabel things because why white rage can be viewed as fucking patriotic. Like, it does not make sense. So the thing about it is, for me, I think the idea of it is a fight at this point. It's something we have to break down and fight for because we're being labeled with things that don't apply to us. It's just who we are. So absolutely, I want to fight.
Dr. B, you want to fight?
This is my thing. Jay-Z said it best. I have 6 degrees. I went from the hood to the hills. I beat the statistics. I'm not a baby mama. I'm a product of teenage pregnancy. My father was a street dude who sold, move weight. He was one of the biggest ones and a gangster that turned his life over. My mom was a 16-year-old pregnant girl. And guess what, Torre? Guess what, Sarah? Guess what, Dimitri? Jay-Z said it well. Still nigga to some people. Still nigga. Let me go further. Still nigga to some of my Black people too. So what am I saying is it's not about us focusing on whether we want to fight or not physically. We need to focus on what is the fight that we are fighting for. First of all, what's the loaf? Let's breadcrumb what the hell that strategic fight looks like. One thing Republicans do, which predominantly are white people, as we know, they strategize years ahead. They know who they want to run for office in 4 years, in 10 years, and 30 years. We as Black people, whether we dim or liberals, because I don't care, need to have think tanks where we are strategically figuring out what is the fight. Why are we protesting if we don't know the fight? Why are we even having an emotion and feeling so strong if we don't know what that emotion needs to result in? What do we want that to be? What is our feast so we know what to cook?
Dimitri, I think that she makes an excellent point that I'm not sure what issue is so passionate and central to a wide swath of Black people, multiple classes, Atlanta, New York, LA, Oakland, that would everybody's going to work, like when it was the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement, the issues were clearer to us. So it was easier to get a large group of Black people to say, I will sacrifice my body, potentially my health and safety to march here, to the issues now are much more complicated. I don't know that you could you could get a group of people to coalesce to where they're risking their bodies for. I just think the issues are heavier now, are broader now, and the needs that we have as a community are much broader now. Go ahead.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree with you, and I absolutely understand all that. But the problem is this: we've never lacked warriors. We lack a war room. That's the fucking problem. We don't have anywhere to strategically get this fight together. There's not spaces where we're large enough where people are gathered. Look how strategic they've been with us. At one point, major corporations adopted the Black Lives Matter movement. Within a year, it was completely wiped.
They like you said, Dr. Bryant, breadcrumbs. They painted the streets. They fucking did all these things just to silence us long enough so we forget that any of this fucking occurred. We need to sit down, create strategy on how the fuck we can fight back, and then go out there and fight it. Because fighting doesn't have to be violent. Torre, I'm not an angry black man. Don't label me now. I'm not an angry black man.
You should be.
I'm just a black man with some anger. That's all I am.
You should be. You shouldn't be an ABM, but you should be angry because of what's going. I feel like that you kind of made reference to Black Lives Matter there, and I want to bring out a point, and I wonder if Dr. Bryant, as an NAACP person, agrees with this. Black Lives Matter had a tremendous impact on America before Trayvon Martin, before Black Lives Matter really got going. Ferguson. We saw in this country police killings as separate things that happened that didn't have any relationship to each other. And there was not any legislative or political feeling of like we could do something because something happened in Buffalo, something happened in Oakland. They are completely separate. And Black Lives Matter, through nonviolent education of the masses, through Twitter, through other media, made people see these are all interconnected stories. This is one singular thing that is happening. And we can have things like body cameras and consent decrees and other ways of reshaping policing, not changing what Black people do, but changing what the police do to have better outcomes. It's not perfect, but we made the media and the country understand this is one story. So they had a massive impact. They can't save every Black person who's on the wrong end of a police gun, but we did have a massive impact, a massive change on America from Black Lives Matter. Dr. B.
I want to say this really quick, because Dimitri, you said, as you continued, some really good points, Ray, you just did too as well. When you talk about the angry Black man, another thing when it comes to protesting, or to your point, when it comes to organizing, right, for these issues, why is it that we are only organizing when there's a George Floyd moment or when there's a death? Why are we not organizing being preventative? Why are we always being interventive? That's not how it works. Second thing is, when we are out there protesting, when we are out there doing this fight, violently or not, there's a huge, gigantic percentile of us, especially our Black men, who will be prosecuted. Guess what prosecution does? It puts something on their record that then makes it hard for them to get a job. Then what does that do? That messes them up socioeconomically to where they cannot take care of their family. So now they not only become to the outside world, but to the woman, a nothing ass man who can't provide because he ended up being prosecuted for fighting for something he wanted. NAACP made a pact with the LA Police Department that said, while we're protesting back in George Floyd, because I put together the very first march where the police law enforcement marched and protested against their own people when George Floyd fought. I had every political elected official out here. I had the chief of police marching in the front lines with us for the first time in history. But we made sure we made a pact. And we told them this: you cannot arrest not one person. You cannot arrest not one person, especially not a Black person, because that is systemic racism. The second thing that happens is what happens? We end up being folks who are out here trying to figure out, okay, when we're organizing, Black Lives Matter, NAACP, two separate civil rights organizations, but they shouldn't be separate by cause. They shouldn't be separate by fight. They can be separate by title. They can be separate by name. I want to give Black Lives Matter their props for a second. NAACP, we sit with the police, we sit with the police staff, we sit with law enforcement, we chastise them, we have conversations, we create policy, we create legislation. Let me tell you something Black Lives Matter won't do. They're not sitting with law enforcement. They ain't sitting with no police or chief. They said this: we want no parts of them. What am I saying? Both leaderships are necessary. Black Lives Matter is making a large splash when they were on the streets, and NAACP is systemically, internally creating legislation, and we are creating policies that can work for us. So all I'm getting to is that, yes, Torre, yes, Dimitri, yes, Sarah, we have to organize, we have to be preventative, but we also have to make sure we are having conversations with these lawmakers so our brothers, our sisters don't end up in a worse position fighting for a good fight and having to then do a whole 360 in reverse uno and fight for their life and fight for the socioeconomic status because they can't go nowhere after they fought a good fucking fight. It's unfair.
Dimitri, if we're going to do a civil war, what do you want it to look like?
I wanted to be. The thing about it is, I can't even put peaceful in the conversation. I want it to be strategic. I want it to be organized. I want it to be led by the exact same fucking people they attempt to tokenize in their own fucking companies and organizations to push Black culture forward. I want it to be led in the social media space we share now. I wanted to start from conversations we have here on Truth Talks. For me personally, because I was out there marching when the marches was happening. I'm not just somebody who step back and talk about it. To me personally, I think it's done best when it's strategic, organized, and thought out. And that's exactly why we need a war room to do so. Before we ever deploy for a war, we sit and we say how we're going to do it. That's exactly what needs to happen.
Sarah.
I couldn't agree more, you know, and I'm so happy, Dimitri, that you clarified the aspect of being strategic and that it doesn't necessarily mean a fight. Because on January 6th, they were shooting those men with rubber bullets. We don't get shot with rubber bullets. We get shot with lead bullets. And if we are out here going out trying to make all of these changes, it's really easy if we're all in one place to take us all down at one at a time. And so for me, civil war, strategic civil war means getting our economy together. It means coming together as one, identifying, like Dr. B said, you've got to identify what is the next step, like where are we even at and where is it that we want to go so we can reverse engineer that thing. We need to have our voices heard, like Truth Talks. We need this platform. We need to be able to amplify the voices of the different Black experience so we can actually all see we're not that much different. Even if we came from completely different circumstances, at the end of the day, most of us are still treated the same when we get pulled over by the police. And we have to know that it's not until we're able to come together. That's how the best way to win is to create economy. We need to be a richer race.
Well, that's 100% correct. And that is the point, that we can succeed through economics. Right. And that may be Kujichagulia, something more unified, like collective economics. But if we need to have more money coming into the community and using that money to improve the community. I have a dream of Black billionaires, some of them, we don't have that many, but a few of them getting together.
We have a lot of them, Torre. We have a lot of them.
Let's peel off a couple of dollars so that we can have a bank that focuses on mortgages for Black people. Because if we have more Black people getting more mortgages that are good for them, then we'll have more home ownership, and we will bring more wealth into the community long term, so we can have that money for the next generation, not just our generation. That sort of economic rise is what we need. The fight is never. I mean, look, I was out on George Floyd just like everybody, right? And I love those days and those civil disobedience, marching the streets, shutting down highways, shutting down bridges. Like, these things are really valuable and really important and part of the struggle. But we're really not going to win unless we have a lot of money that we can deploy just to make us a stronger community, right? Yeah. I think the money is the thing that's going to make the protest really, really work. Yeah. Dr. B, what do you think?
And I want to say, we need to be able to feel our emotion of anger and not be suppressed. When you have these white folks go shoot up a school, is that anger or is that mental health? Okay, I'm back. But when you have a Black man who just is expressing himself at a very loud, passionate tone, but ain't shot nobody, ain't hit nobody, ain't did none of it, just externalizing how he feels. Is that anger or is that mental health? Or is that him externalizing his trauma that he has every fucking right to do? What I'm saying is that cultural competence is needed in this world, in this leadership, in law enforcement. Trauma looks different on us than it does white people, than it does brown people, than it does Asian people. And until they understand that, they will always fear. Go ahead, Torre, go ahead.
How does it look different on us, trauma, than others?
Let an officer pull behind a Black man, and you'll see how his trauma inflames, and it looks different than a white man being put over by an officer. That's where it looks different. When a Black man gets out and he throws his hands up and says, yo, man, what did I do? What did I do? That's his fear. That's his trauma. That's him confused. He's trying to figure out why me again. Versus a white man that gets out and says, hey, sir, so what was I pulled over for? The same message. It looks different. You're talking about a black man. If he's grown up in the inner city or in the hood, he's growing up with helicopters above his head. He's growing up with a little boy he's raising by himself. He's growing up with a single mama in the household. He's growing up trying to figure out how he can just get from fucking home to school and back alive without being robbed, without being killed. So you're dealing with a different person who has a different environment, who has different needs. And if you don't take the time to be cultural competent, you don't need to be in a leadership position. You damn sure need to be in a law enforcement position. And you are not a person who needs to be dealing with people outside of your race. It looks different on us. And we have a right for it to look different. And we have an even more right to be understood. And if you don't understand this, to stay the fuck away from jobs that serve us.
Sarah.
Ooh, that's so good. And on a complete side note, I also feel like people in authority need to have a mental illness check before they're even able to do that job, because a lot of them are so mentally ill. They're taking their trauma from back in the day when they were any girls, or they were the shorter guy, or weren't as good at sports, and they're projecting that pain. Now they're adults. They're projecting that onto us in their adult life. So that's number one. Number two, I feel like we need to take accountability for what's happening inside of our lives. What does that mean? It means you can't take away from me what I've built. If we get focused on creating economy for ourselves by joining together, by having actual business plans, by pooling our money together, by creating an opportunity for us to grow together instead of that crabs in a barrel mentality, everything will change, because we are some of the most powerful, resilient people that exist on this planet. And as long as we can work together and identify the issue and work against that, take that anger and funnel it into strategy, funnel it into intention, funnel it into action that needs to happen day by day by day. And one day we'll look up and life will look completely different.
Dimitri.
Absolutely. I couldn't say it any better myself. The trauma shows up in a number of ways they'll never understand because they've never experienced it. You don't understand what it's like Dr. Brian said, for police to pull behind me. You don't understand what it's like to be in the richer part of the city and eyes and people looking at you and XYZ. You don't understand what it's like to be a black man. And I got a concern whether my application is being viewed at the same level this motherfucker next to me is. Those are things you never understand. That's trauma we have. And what people don't understand is trauma shapes your confidence. Trauma shapes how you present yourself to the world. Trauma shapes all of you. And then we show up in these spaces and we don't have what it takes. Why? Because our trauma never let us get there, never let us develop fully. So this motherfucker get the job when I was way more qualified. To me, I think the thing about it is we've taken on this notion of suppressing this trauma. And now you see this uprise and you want to call us angry because of it. Yeah, God damn it, I'm angry. I should be fucking angry. Sure. That's what my trauma made me. Your trauma made you peaceful. Why? Because all you've ever seen was fucking the easy road. Fuck that, man.
Doc.
You know, there is an amendment I was trying to look up, but I can't find it. I did a really amazing event with Ben Crump, the biggest civil rights attorney in the world. Yeah. And there's an amendment. I'm so sorry I don't have it because I love to educate. But this amendment talks about, because Sarah made such a good point, that law enforcement by law cannot have a mental health illness diagnosis and be an active officer. Okay. Now they have that, but guess what? It's not mandatory that they see a mental health professional quarterly or yearly. So who is checking the balance? Where's the democracy to make sure that our officers that are serving us are not impaired? Who's doing that check and balance? Because what it says is if an officer is impaired, then guess what? He has to step down until he either gets the treatment he needs or he cannot operate in that capacity anymore. So I'm not going to name drop because I won't do that to my friends, but I have friends who work as port police, friends who work as LA PD officers. My brother's a 14-year officer as well, who have been diagnosed with depression, with anxiety, with PTSD. Not my brother, but many of them. And guess what? They still suit up every day. They still put a badge on every day. So what am I saying? Go ahead, Torre. What am I saying? Go ahead, go deeper.
Let's go a little bit deeper. The FBI has made it clear that a lot of white supremacist organizations told their people, go into law enforcement. So the next time you get pulled over, that officer in blue might be in the Klan. He might be in the Proud Boys. They were very purposeful and intentional, saying we need to maintain our power. And the way we do that is sending brothers into law enforcement. Like that, and we don't even know. Like you're talking about with the mental health, we don't know. We don't even know because we can't quantify who's in the Klan. You don't put that on your resume, right?
That's why we don't know, Torre, because it's not in the bylaws. It's in the amendments, the Constitution. But if it's not in the law enforcement bylaws, then guess what? They don't have to follow them. So we as NAACP are fighting to change up and take out some of those bylaws and put in bylaws that work for people that look like us. Because if the bylaws don't say you have to be mentally impaired, then guess what? Y'all got me pissed off.
She'll keep going anyway.
Fuck this shit.
Love the passion.
The fire is here.
Are you an angry black woman?
Is all about.
You know, hold on. Let me say this. Dimitri asked a good question. He said, "Am I an angry black woman?" Let me say this, Dimitri.
Oh.
I am
I'm
a.
sorry.
Let me say this, Dimitri. I am and can become an extremely angry, passionate black woman for my black men, for my father, for my brothers, for my kids, for my community. You damn right. And that's why they got the right one in the position as NAACP president, because I be in those chief of staff meetings, seriously, and I be cutting their asses up. And if they watching, they're vouch for it. I be in there looking like the angry, strong black woman, and I don't care about them pressing me because I'm a press and stand on it, double down every single time. So for a person like you, Dimitri, for my sister Sarah, for my brother Terrell, you damn right I'm angry. And if it takes angry to move this machine, then baby, let's get this ship revved up. I'm okay with, and I don't care about titles.
Dimitri.
I don't care about titles, Torre. I care about change. I care about actions. Care about call of actions. And I care about people who look like me so that the people who don't look like us can have a different experience of us. And guess what? They can also have a better world, because as we do better, we impact every single body who's connected to us.
Dimitri,
So, yeah.
you know, I really started thinking about where we are as far as Civil War when I interviewed Malcolm X. And you know what he told me?
Wow.
You know what Malcolm X told me?
What did he tell you?
Dimitri, he died 10 years before I was born. What are you talking about? Are you kidding me?
Great.
All right, you look old enough.
Listen, I at least thought you were 70.
White
At
head
least.
forever.
Literally.
Fingers, Mike. This
At
is
least I
Truth
was
Talks. I love you guys. That was an amazing, passionate show. Everybody brought their heart, their mind. That was amazing. Thank you so much for coming with the energy. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's Dr. B, it's Sarah, it's Dimitri, and we're going to bring in a lot of amazing guests to come into this mix with us this year. Maybe Mark Lamont Hill, maybe DL Hughley, Ebony K. Williams, perhaps. You never know who from our Rolodex is going to show up on any given night. So please come hang with us every night at 8 o'clock. Like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube at Truth Talks-Live. You can always watch us on YouTube/Truth Talks Live. Support Black media via the links on your screen. See you tomorrow.
Wait, and lastly, leave in the comments how old you think our brother Torre is. We want to know in the comments, how old is this Negro? How old?
Get out of here.
Bye, y'all.